Hi, welcome to another edition of the Alan Rosenberg Show. One of my favorite series of videos I do is what I call Time Capsule, Favorite Albums by Year. Now, I've done 15 videos so far in this series. All you got to do is go to my channel, hit playlists, and there are 15 episodes of Time Capsule, one episode per year. So I started with 1971, and you can see I do it by decade. So this year, starting 50 years ago, we're in 2024. I'm going to be doing 1974, 84, 94, 2004, 2014. That's what I'm going to be doing early this year. But you can see all of these other videos already there. And basically what I'm doing is I'm creating my history of rock and roll, giving you suggestions, albums to check out by year. Now, in 1974, 50 years ago, I currently own 123 albums that came out that year. It's a great year that you're going to see. There is a ton of classic music that came out, and it's hard to cherry pick it. So out of 123, I'm going to quickly show you 62 of them. Don't worry, it's going to go quick. And then I'm going to show you my top 10, and my rankings are based on how much I play them, because that's really what's important. All right, enough yapping. Let's grab an alphabetical order. Here's what came out 50 years ago in 1974. Aerosmith's second album, Get Your Wings. Bachman Turner Overdrive, Not Fragile. I used to have this on vinyl. It was like the three-dimensional. It was like die cut. Great packaging. Bad Company's debut album. Big Star's second album, Radio City. Blue Oyster Cult's third album, Secret Treaties. David Bowie's Diamond Dogs. Now, back in the day, a lot of artists would release more than one album in a year, and David Bowie did that. Diamond Dogs and David Live, the double live album from the Diamond Dogs tour. So both of those came out in 1974. And if you know my channel, I talk about those albums a lot, so you know those are probably going to show up. Let's keep going. Eric Clapton came back real strong with the classic album, 461 Ocean Boulevard. This is a deluxe edition of it. Okay. Deep Purple, Mach 3, their first album with Glenn Hughes and David Coverdale, Burn. I was going to say great album. Great, they're all great albums. They wouldn't be here if they weren't great albums. Bob Dylan switched record labels actually that year, did Planet Waves. And then he toured with the band and put out the great live record, Before the Flood. Also came out in 74. The Eagles, On the Border. Cool CD version, by the way. It's got the texture. I'm not going to show compilation albums, but I will show some classic live records, like the triple live record from Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. Ladies and gentlemen, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Focus, Hamburger Concerto. And Peter Frampton, Something's Happening. With that Hypnosis album cover that he did. Pretty cool. All right, let's keep going as it's a little bit out of order. Okay. Another classic live album, Rory Gallagher, Irish Tour. Jay Giles Band, Nightmares, and Other Tales from the Vinyl Jungle with that great album cover. Genesis, The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. The Good Rats, I'm from Long Island. If you're a Long Islander, you know and you love the Good Rats. And this is a classic Good Rats album. Tasty. Grand Funk, talk about bands that released more than one album in a year. Grand Funk released Shining On. The three-dimensional cover came with the glasses. And All the Girls in the World Beware. Both of those albums came out in 1974. The Grateful Dead, released from the Mars Hotel. Jethro Tull, War Child. Billy Joel did Street Life Serenade. Was not the biggest hit at that time, but certainly bigger now, that's for sure. All right. let's keep going. And David, I hope this stuff doesn't fall. Elton John released Caribou. Yoma Kokkonen, just mentioned him in one of my videos. He did Qua with Tom Hobson. The Kinks released the sequel, Preservation Act 2, double album was. Kiss released 2 albums in 1974, their debut. And Hotter Than Hell. Little Feat put out Feet Don't Fail Me Now. Leonard Skinner, their second album, Second Helping. Is this stuff bringing you back? The Marshall Tucker Band released 2 albums that year. The double one, which was half studio and half live, Where We All Belong. And then A New Life. Both of those albums came out in 1974. Oh, somebody else was pretty prolific in 1974. Joni Mitchell. She put out 2 albums. The classic Chord and Spark. Excuse me, I'm still sick, as you can tell. Chord and Spark came out in 74, and then she toured. Sorry. And did the live album with the LA Express, Miles of Isles. Van Morrison put out his classic double live record. It's too late. It's too late to stop now, and this is a huge deluxe edition of it. But that came out in 74. Nectar in 74 put out Down to Earth, the circus themed album from them. Lou Reed put out a classic live record, Rock and Roll Animal. He also put out Sally Can't Dance in 74. Renaissance put out Turn of the Cards. Status Quo put out Quo. Really, really good Status Quo album if you like that. And Steely Dan put out Pretzel Logic. Got one of my favorite Steely Dan songs on there, Night by Night. Al Stewart put out Past, Present, and Future with that great Hypnosis cover as well. And we're heading towards the end of it. Let's pull all these up. We got Supertramp. They put out the great Crime of the Century. Great cover, too. But all of these are great. Richard and Linda Thompson put out I Want to See the Bright Lights Tonight. Robin Trower put out his classic Bridge of Sighs. I don't think he ever bettered that album. And UFO put out their classic Phenomenon. Another classic Hypnosis cover. Uriah Heep put out Wonderworld. It's a good live shot on the back of that album. Wet Willie put out Keep on Smiling. Probably their commercial peak here in the United States. Johnny Winter put out Saints and Sinners, which is probably my favorite Johnny Winter album. And Wishbone Ash started their Mark II with Laurie Weisfield. They put out There's the Rub, and this is a beautiful CD version of that. Another Hypnosis cover. Neil Young, On the Beach. And Frank Zappa, he was prolific as he always is, and he put out 2 albums in 74, the classic Apostrophe, and one of the all-time great live records, Roxy and Elsewhere. Another big year for Frank Zappa back in 74. Those are all the CDs I'm showing. That was pretty quick. There is some vinyl I'm going to quickly show you as well. So, let's show you some of these without, hopefully, them falling. Charlie Daniels Band, they put out 2 albums, and that's back when Charlie was a rock and roll band. Make no mistake about it. And if you know my channel, you know I love Fire on a Mountain. That came out in 1974. Charlie Daniels Band at his best. But they also put out this kind of forgotten record. It was not a hit at the time. This is the first pressing of Way Down Yonder. And this is a killer Charlie Daniels Band album. If you don't know Charlie Daniels, this is a really great way to get back into the early version of Charlie Daniels Band when they were a great, great rock and roll band for sure. I talk about Less Variations, a French Moroccan rock band, really unusual sound. A killer album this is, Moroccan Roll. Came out in 74. The Rolling Stones put out It's Only Rock and Roll. This was in one of my recent videos on favorite album covers. And that came out in 74 as well. As did Rick Wakeman. and The Journey to the Center of the Earth. And talk about the days of vinyl. Look at the packaging on this baby. 8-fold. Got a whole book in there. He went all out. And of course, this was a huge hit for Rick Wakeman, which he deserved. A guy who was never afraid to take chances, and he delivered on this album. Joe Walsh put out So What. I think it's his best album by far. And The Who put out this great compilation, and it's also die cut, with texture. The Who, Odds and Sods. It's a compilation, but it really is like a Who album because all the stuff was, like deep unreleased stuff. And it's a great listen. Ron Wood put out his first solo record, I've Got My Own Album to Do, with special guests like Keith Richards and Mick Jagger and Rod Stewart. And Bill Wyman actually put out his first solo record, Monkey Grip, on Rolling Stones Records. There you have it. So that didn't take too long, right? That was 62 albums I just showed you. Let's get into what are my top 10 albums from 1974 based on play. May surprise you, but not fragile, from Bachman Turner Overdrive is my number 10. I had it on vinyl when it came out. This album is chock full of classics. It's a hard rocking record. Listen to the opening riff of Not Fragile. Some people say it was kind of their answer to Yes's Fragile album. I don't know if that's the case. Maybe it is. But Roll On Down the Highway, You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet. You never get tired of hearing that one. But Sledgehammer, Giving It All Away, Blue Moanin', Freewheel. This is just a hard-rockin' 1974 album that I just played the hell out of. And when I put it on, which is not that often anymore, but when I put it on, it still puts a big smile on my face. Bachman Turner Overdrive at number 10. At number 9 is this band, Les Variations, that you never heard of. I got tons of clippings back here from Circus Magazine and Cream Magazine. And they were on Buddha Records, and Buddha Records did their best to get them publicity, to get them known in the States. They did tour as an opening band, but didn't really make it. Here was a full-page ad from Rolling Stone magazine on Buddha Records, Les Variations. They kind of look like a Stones-ish kind of a live band. They're the real deal for sure. And check out I Don't Know Why on YouTube. It's a great 70s rocker. I guarantee you'll really, really like it. Trust me, give it a shot. It's like 3 minutes. You'll thank me. You'll be like, wow, I never heard anything that sounded like those guys. And it's really good. All right, so that's number 9. At number 8 is going to be Joni Mitchell and her classic Court and Spark. My sister got me into this album, and I don't think it's ever been bettered by Joni Mitchell. Tremendous record, obviously. At number 7, an album that some people don't love too much, but I certainly do. Jethro Tull and War Child. And I have the box set, of course. If you know my channel, I got all the Tull boxes. But this album, I just think it's great. This is a good one with the bonus tracks on there. Bungle in the Jungle was a big hit, and I love that song to this day. I could play it anytime. But, Skating Away in the Thin Ice of the New Day is just a great Tull ballad that doesn't sound like anybody else, because that's the beauty of Jethro Tull. Nobody else sounds like Jethro Tull. They are truly unique. So, there you have Jethro Tull and War Child. At number 6, we're going to go with The Who and Odds and Sods. Like I said, it's a compilation of stuff that they had never released, outtakes and unreleased tracks, but it flows together so well. Long Live Rock later on became a hit when they did the movie. The Kids Are Alright. Pure and Easy is one of my favorite Who tracks of all time. It's just a classic track for sure. So let's put in Odds and Sods from The Who at number 6. Now, if you're a CD person like me, you should get the CD version of Odds and Sods, because it's like triple the length. It's or double the length, more than double the length. Up to 23 tracks. It's great. So, Odds and Sods from The Who at number 6. At number 5 is I got the shirt on, and that is the band Renaissance. And as far as studio records go, Turn of the Cards is just a masterpiece. Oh my God. I mean, every track is just great. Flows so well. Running Hard and Mother Russia and I Think of You and Black Flame and talking about things I don't understand. I don't understand why Renaissance is not a bigger name, because they should be. It's so damn great. But there you have it. Renaissance, Turn of the Cards at number 5. At number 4, I was one of the early adopters of Genesis back in the 70s before they were really, really big. The last Peter Gabriel album is The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. It is a conceptual album that I have never stopped playing. To this day, it's just such a curious adventure that we're going to make a movie about it at one point, but never happened, which is kind of a shame because it's still not exactly sure what goes on in that surrealistic journey, but the music is just so great. Genesis at number 4. At number 3 is a tie. I've done lots of videos on my favorite live albums and albums that were so influential to me, and both of these albums always pop up. David Bowie, 1974, the year that I discovered him. Diamond Dogs, love that studio record to death. I've never stopped playing it. This is a deluxe edition with 2 CDs. And David Live, which I bought right when it came out, is one of my favorite live albums of all time. Yeah, he does a lot of his classic tracks in a different way, but don't be fooled. It is just an amazing live record. Earl Slick plays lead guitar like nobody else on that album. It is a fantastic, fantastic album. And that's how I got into Bowie. Diamond Dogs and David Live. Tied at number 3. At number 2, Charlie Daniels Band, Fire in the Mountain. Yep, I've never stopped playing that album. I got it the day it came out. I was an early adopter of Charlie Daniels Band. And make no mistake, they were the real deal. They were a seriously great rock and roll band, and they sure are. So what's number 1? Number 1 is going to be probably not a really big surprise if you know my channel, because I'm one of the world's biggest Rolling Stones fans. But It's Only Rock and Roll is by far and away my most played album that came out in 1974. It doesn't really get the respect that it deserves. I saw the band in 75 and they toured for this and Goat's Head Soup. There's your track listing. The problem with It's Only Rock and Roll is that it didn't have a really, really great single. The single was It's Only Rock and Roll. You probably know the story. It was originally like a demo that they did as a jam with Bowie and Kenny Jones on drums, and then they overdubbed it a lot. And if you really listen to the track, it sounds like it. It's just not a really clean sounding Stones single. And with the Stones were on such a roll with singles at that time, when you had like, you know, going back to like 67, 68, Jumpin' Jack Flash, Honky Tonk Woman, Brown Sugar, these are all like number 1 songs, you know. 72, you got Tumbling Dice from Exile. 73, you got Angie, number 1 hit. It's Only Rock and Roll, the single. The Stones, of course, had really big selling songs at that time on the charts. It's Only Rock and Roll was not a massive successful single. You know, went top 20, but for the Stones, that wasn't such a big deal. And the album itself went to number 1 in the U.S., but I think it was only for like 1 week. So it fell out of the charts for the Stones. I think memory serves like 18 weeks, which was not a huge amount of time back in those days. So it was kind of not the massive success that they would do. And I'm telling you, it's because there wasn't a great single on the album. The second single was Ain't Too Proud to Beg, which is a cover, and it's a great cover because half of this album was supposed to be a covers album. That's why they did Drift Away. But it's a great listen. It really is. And it has my number 1 go-to Rolling Stone song, which is Time Waits for No One. I'm sure you know it, but if you don't know it, you need to hear Time Waits for No One. It's only the greatest guitar solo by Mick Taylor and the greatest guitar solo in the Stones' history, and it's a masterpiece. But it's just a fine listen. Till the Next Goodbye is a great ballad, and Fingerprint File is a really funky track. If you're going to get the album, get remastered version on CD. I have like 5 versions of this thing, but the remastered version on CD, it was speed corrected on fingerprint file, and the tracks are a little bit longer. That's the version that you want to get. It's the best version. It's Only Rock and Roll, my #1 album of the year from 1974, based on Play. So what do we got? #1, The Stones, It's Only Rock and Roll. #2, Fire on a Mountain, Charlie Daniels Band. #3 is a tie, David Bowie's Diamond Dogs and David Bowie's David Live. #4, Genesis and The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. At #5, that's #4. #5, Renaissance, Turn of the Cards. At #6, The Who and Odds and Sods. At #7, Jethro Tull and War Child. #8, Joni Mitchell's Court and Spark. #9, Less Variations, Moroccan Roll. And at #10, Bachman Turner Overdrive, Not Fragile. Plus another almost 60 albums that I showed you. So that pretty much covers 1974. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the concept. Again, check out my playlist. Tons and tons of 15 videos to watch per year. I will continue doing this series until the end of my channel, and I will hopefully cover every single year starting from 1971 onward. But I think it's a cool concept. Most importantly, I really appreciate your loyalty and watching my channel. I love your comments. I always try to answer them. And I love the give and take between you and me, and you. My viewers talk back and forth as well. And that's the best thing of all. So let me know your thoughts about 1974. Were you around then, like me, buying music, or are you experiencing it now, going back in time? Let me know what your favorite albums are. What do you think I missed? Remember, I still got like another 60 albums down there I didn't show you. But maybe you think I missed something, and maybe I did. Let me know. If you're new to my channel, hit subscribe and check out my other videos. Most importantly, what do I say? Stay safe, stay healthy, because I'm not healthy. I can't seem to lick this thing. And let's have a happy new year in 2024. See you next time.